Guys, Grant and I are going to be at a mini maker fair. It's at Electric Park in Thanksgiving Point, which is in Lehi, Utah. It's gonna be going down September 15th. We're gonna be bringing some of our favorite projects. We're gonna have a stage show. We'll have a craft table where you can make your own skyballs. It's gonna be awesome. Check the link in the description for 20% off of admission price, which is only like $8 to start with. So if you can make it out there, we'd love to see you. Wite-Out is a brand name of correction fluid that usually comes in pretty small bottles and you rarely see a large quantity of it together. Well, we went ahead and we got a large quantity of it. 36 of these bottles, 0.7 fluid ounces or 20 milliliters each. We're gonna empty all of them. We want to see what happens if you get a bunch of this fluid and then heat it up to the boiling point. These bottles and the boxes and just all over have warnings talking about how it's extremely flammable. So yeah, we're gonna do this anyway, and we're just gonna make sure we've got a fire extinguisher on hand. That'll take care of it, right? We're gonna do some small scale tests with the liquid in one bottle, seeing what happens when we light it on fire, and then we're gonna boil the rest of it. The idea is simple. We're gonna empty 36 of these bottles into a pot, turn on the heat, and learn what happens. Small scale test first. We're just gonna draw a stripe with our fluid and light it and see if it burns. Definitely hard to see in the light. Try pouring out a little bit larger quantity. That is indeed quite flammable. I see no reason that should stop us. Got a nice clean cooking pot. Look at that. That is a pot full of correction fluid. Quite a bit in there too. It's time to turn on the burner. We're gonna start on very low temperature and just let it go for a little bit, see what happens, and then if we feel the need, we'll turn the temp up. I think the Wite-Out is mostly made of a solvent of some type, which is why it's so flammable and why it dries so quickly. That works great as a correction fluid. When you're trying this experiment, it's a little interesting because whatever's on the surface can start to evaporate really quickly and it starts leaving sort of a skin as the surface dries out a little bit. Underneath, of course, is still completely liquid. There's sort of a skin on top of it. Definitely some good bubbling action going on. Bubbles seem to be getting a little bit bigger. I think a lot of them are getting trapped underneath that surface skin, so the bubbles grow until that skin pops and then they escape. I am too darn curious. I gotta try turning this up a little. Bubbles sort of join underneath the dried out surface. Sort of like a swamp bubbling. Slow build and slow pop. Oh, weird, we got a spot that like broke through the surface and is just bubbling. It's not doing the bigger bubbles. It's just bubbling too. Oh, it's on fire.
It's on fire.
Well, we hit a flash point for our Wite-Out, and now it's on fire. I'm gonna try and move that off of our table down onto some dirt. It's still boiling. So, update on boiling correction fluid. This is Wite-Out brand, but I suspect most of them are similar. It does light on fire, even if it's not exposed directly to flame. It got hot enough, I assume, that the fumes coming off of the top of it are what ignited, but now it's just on fire, and now we're just letting it burn out. So this is what happens. This is why you keep it away from heat sources. This is why it says danger, extremely flammable. I didn't even have to hit it with the torch directly. It was just boiling on the stove, and that was enough to set it off. Our fire has gone out, and this is what is left of our Wite-Out. There's no liquid left in this. This is just powder at the very least. I haven't yet researched what exactly correction fluid is made of. Probably a lot of titanium oxide, because that's very, very white. There's no more solvent in here, so this is just whatever's left, and then of course some things may have been changed by the heat. That's it right there is Wite-Out. Maybe just sprinkle some of this on your paper. Soup's on. It is interesting the shape it forms into. It's like there was little tiny bubbles inside. As a result, it's very soft now. I can just sort of crush it. It looks like it's kind of just breaking into powder, but it does feel like it has just the tiniest bit of a gummy texture to it. Just like a plasticky squish before it crumbles into bits. Boiling correction fluid, never seen it before. I don't know if anyone's done that. Now I have. I learned what happens to it. Don't do it, it lights on fire, it's dangerous, and you probably definitely don't want to breathe in any of the fumes. I was really trying to stay upwind of everything the whole time. Is there anything like this you'd like to see us try in the future? Let us know down in the comments. If we use your idea, we can send you 25 bucks. Guys, we recently hit an amazing milestone, 10 million subscribers. Thank you all so very much for that, and we want to start adding in a few little changes to the channel. Nothing that hopefully anyone finds detrimental, but additional stuff that we haven't been doing much of in the past. And one of those main things we want to do is more interaction with you guys. So starting out with today, we're going to be doing a little bit of Q&A. Going forward, we'll try and do some more shout outs to you guys, our fans. We'll try and do some more Q&A stuff, answering all of the questions that you've been burning to ask for years. And we'll try and do a few giveaways too. And hopefully we've come up with some good engaging ways for us to do those giveaways. So it won't just be picking out a random number, but we'll have fun contests and puzzles you have to solve, things that really get you interactive. I've got some questions from some of you guys. I also have some questions that I don't have a specific comment to reference to, but lots and lots of people asked. My qualifications, I have an art background, I majored in sculpture, and I've loved building and making stuff for as long as I can remember. I can draw, I like doing that as well, but I really like doing builds and sculpting type stuff. So for me, this is great. Probably the question I've been asked the most is why I wear black gloves all the time. And the answer to that is very simple. It's because when I started, Grant told me to, it was part of the uniform. A lot of the time I'm doing stuff that you don't need the gloves for, and sometimes like when I'm doing stuff with tape, they're actually detrimental, and in those cases I do take them off, especially more recently. When I first started, I was a little bit nervous about like, oh, am I allowed to change things up? So now I take the gloves off if they're a hindrance. These are not just sunglasses that we wear. We are wearing safety glasses. These are from Home Depot and they are sold as safety glasses. These ones are safety rated. And so we got them for eye protection, and I wear them even when I'm not doing builds or anything like that, just because it's part of the look. Moving on, we've got a few questions to ask. We're gonna start out with this question from Ethan and Liam HD. What are your personal top 3 favorite builds to date? Oh, good question. My first build was the Super Soaker here. This is one of my favorite builds I've done. I love doing that scale of things, but I am trying to produce 5 videos a week, and so I don't usually have time to do something like that. We do have some plans moving forward for how we can free up a little bit more time, keep the same number of videos coming, but be able to scale some of our projects up. So hopefully that works out. Another early one was the laminar flow build that I did. And that one's cool because it's fun to physically build, like the actual construction process, you're using lots of different materials. And then there's like the science behind what's happening. And so it's a little bit of building and a little bit of learning at the same time. And I really like the effect. I think the most common comment on that video was saying like, well, why would you build this? I don't know, it's just kind of cool. And then much more recently, the flamethrower arm. That was a killer fun build, so I built that whole thing, came up with all of the designs. I did borrow here and there little bits. The YouTube channel, I talked about it in that video, the gyrus of all, but I did have to figure out most of it on my own. So, Super Soaker, laminar flow, and arm-mounted flamethrower. Next, Nico Games asks, which project made the most mess and who cleans it up? I would say one of the messiest was when we took the large flamethrower, the one that uses a pressure tank, and filled it with slime. It was fairly high pressure, so it wasn't comfortable, but like that slime went everywhere, and I think I took a shower for like 2 hours afterward. But there's no cleaning crew, there's no one we hire for that. I make the mess, I clean it up, and my cameraman gets roped into it anyway. Sorry, Mark. This question is brought to us by Josiah Vaughn, who asks, how do you guys manage to create a video every day? That is the question, isn't it? A lot of hard work and a lot of people, but overall, the secret to how we manage to make a video every day is by having a lot of very talented people behind the scenes. So I'll do my 8 hours, but then we've got like 3 or 4 other people who are also working full time. So it ends up being 40 to 50 hours of work per video but we have enough people that we're able to keep churning them out 5 a week. Guys, if you have more questions, let us know. You can write them down here on YouTube or just write them on any Instagram post. You can let us know on Twitter. You can go to the King of Random subreddit. That's reddit.com/r/thekingofrandom. And periodically, Josh, our social media manager, is going to reach out on these different channels asking for your questions. And if you respond to one of his specific queries, you are more likely to see your question end up here in one of our post-video chat sessions. We probably need to get a better name for this. Vlog? It's not really vlogging. I'm not really talking about my day. I'm just answering questions. So let us know. Keep the questions coming. We've got stuff for you to see, for you to do, for you to learn. And we just want to be able to interact with you guys as much as possible. Thanks for watching. Talk to you next time. Today's video is over, but the fun doesn't have to end. That box up at the top will take you to our last video. You should check that out. The box at the bottom shows you what YouTube thinks you should be watching next. And if you're not a subscriber, just hit the bomb to join the club. That way you never miss out on the fun. Don't forget to ring that bell, and we will see you in the next one. Talk to you then.